Assalamu alaikum. That means peace be unto you. Welcome to Liberated Sisters. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad, your host, and I'm so glad to be back with you in this new year for a broadcast to showcase some very beautiful people, some world changers doing some very dynamic things. First and foremost, I want to say to the Liberated Sisters TV viewing audience, thank you so very much for sticking with me, for riding with me, for being patient with me and Liberated Sisters. You may be aware that toward the end of the year, maybe mid-year, actually in August, my daughter had a baby, my son went to college, and the family has been growing and phenomenal things have been happening. I became a point person writer for the national section for the Final Call newspaper. I'm now also writing for the national COVID section with the NOI research group under the tutelage of and the direction of the editor and lead editor and writer, Minister Ava Muhammad. And on that team is Dr. Rizli Muhammad, Brother Sultan Muhammad, myself, and others. And so a lot has been happening that is so good for your sister. And so the show has been live, the show has been pre-recorded, but for the most part, I've tried to keep consistency because that's what we need. We need good information, we need truth, and we need the divine light. And so today, I'm so honored to be bringing to you a panel of authors, and they are part of a anthology, Repair of the Black Family Anthology, which is a compilation of writings. And when I was told about this, I couldn't believe it. I was just so excited about it because as an author myself, which it took me 3 years to actually bring, let me get it for you. It took me
That's right. Go ahead.
Pumps on the ground. It took me 3 years to bring this into black and white. However, it had been inside of me for almost 2 decades. And so when I learned about what Sister Nayyirah Muhammad brought out of her mind, along with her great husband, Brother Daoud Muhammad, and Repair of the Black Family, which we're going to definitely hear more about first and foremost, I was blown away because what a great thing to do to take a team of people working in unison, pooling our resources. That is the economic development, the economic blueprint of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So today we have with us Sister Nayyirah Muhammad, Brother Daoud Muhammad, husband and wife. And we also have Sister Anissa Muhammad, our great public health administrator and director of the Nation of Islam's Ministry of Health in the West. Coordinator is the word I want to use. And we have a couple and wife team of authors out of the South, Brother Van and Sister Arlena. Sister Nayyirah, take it away.
Well, Sister Charlene, we definitely want to thank you and Liberated Sisters for hosting us as we are striving to do a mighty work, and that is to change minds and change lives, right? I'm definitely excited. I have my husband here, as you already so beautifully stated. My husband is here. We have Sister Anissa, Brother Van, and Sister Arlena. And of course, we have you, Sister Charlene, who is also a co-author in this wonderful book. Now, as we get started, and I know you have some beautiful questions for us, this book is more than a book, right? It's a mission. And so every single author, along with myself as the visionary author, we have 33 co-authors in the book. And every single author is mission-minded for the salvation of our people, helping to bring in a universal government in which we all can live. So it starts with the Black family, but it doesn't end with us, because our goal is to change humanity. Yeah. So thank you so much for having us today, and we're ready to get it started.
Thank you. I want to start by asking you, how did this idea come about?
You know, I'm going to say this. You know, you said that you had your book in you for 2 decades, right? Well, let me say, I have had a book buried inside of me for over 15 years, right? I just couldn't give birth to this baby. No matter what, I bought tape recorders, I did everything. I researched, I took classes, but for whatever reason, I could not confront and face writing that book. And so I was in conversation with a friend girl of mine, and I was talking to her about writing a book, right? And she was like, well, why don't you do a compilation book? Like, get other people to write the book with you. Sister Charlene, that resonated in my soul. You know what I mean? Because I'm a family person. And when she said, well, why don't you get other people to write in the book? That was the missing key. It wasn't meant for me, not Sister Nayyirah, to write a book by herself, because the mission is to repair the Black family. And so I truly believe that Allah wanted me to do it exactly how it's being done now, to write this and have an anthology, to bring different perspectives together to do the mighty work in repairing the Black family. So that's how it came about. It was a suggestion. And you know, a suggestions to the wise is like instructions. Done.
Yeah.
Yes. And so with that being said, of course, you know, I truly believe that everybody was divinely chosen to be in this book. We have a bunch of novice writers that's in the book. Everybody is not a writer, you know? So that's how it came about. And I'm just truly excited. And I feel that we are blessed to be chosen for this divine assignment, you know, and I'm gonna say it like this: we understood the assignment.
Dude, did you not understand it? Because the speed, I was like, oh my God. I'm used to deadlines, which I love to call them lifelines, because a deadline, as we know, is a line that if you approach it or go past it, you get shot. But a lifeline is a moment or period of time in which a brother or sister, someone is waiting, they're depending on you for something. So I like the word lifeline over deadline, but in my industry of journalism, that's the word, deadline. And many people they die of heart attacks at their desk. And so I just try to change the language and narrative for me. But when I saw the timelines that you had, you made it so easy. And shout out to your team, all of you who have been, the way you encourage us and nudge us and sternly get us to the point. I love that. Proper handling of people. I don't know, Sister Anissa, Brother Van, Sister Arlena, if you can testify to it, but I just felt the proper handling of people rain down this whole project, and it made me want to really be a part of it. So thank you for saying that, Sister Nayyirah.
Absolutely, and thank you. And I definitely have to shout out, you know, Second Glance, which is the editing team. They have really, you know, helped to bring in fruition that which we desired to communicate. You know, it's one thing to write a book. It comes to a whole nother level when it comes to editing, because I truly know now, I'm learning in this process. It is the editor that helps you to dig deep and really find what you want to say, because we have a lot to say, but it's what's needed to be said, you know, and it's originality, your story, but let's communicate to the reader. Because sometimes, you know, I know for me, I found writing my story, but my story was for me, not just about me, right? And what I've learned through the editing team is it's about you, but it's not for you, it's for the reader. So that's what I love. And I'm so grateful for Second Glance editing team. They are, and chief editor, Sister Malika Muhammad, shout out to her.
Yeah, me too. I love that name too. Isn't that creative? Second Glance.
Yes.
Wow. A little bit about what you and Brother Daoud do with Repair of the Black Family, which is the catalyst, the vehicle for us to be able to even do this.
Yes, absolutely. So do you want to go? Because I'm just talking.
Go right ahead.
You know, I want to, you know, it's Repair the Black Family, so definitely I want to be found yielding to my husband. But, you know, I am the talker, so.
That's right. Oh, but the wisdom, when he does drop, it comes right through.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, ma'am. So the Repair of the Black Family is a non-for-profit foundation. We are a transformational life coaching and speaking business foundation. We have individual coaching, we have couples coaching, we have family coaching. In addition, we have our health and immunity products. And it is our goal, or should I say what we do, is we service the family, right? We help to change minds, change lives, to eradicate generational traumas, generational dramas, limiting beliefs, and self-sabotaging ways to get back holistically well, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically.
Wow. And
Emotional, I always like to say this, I'm sorry, emotionally is really key, because what we need to know and understand that your emotions can override your intellect. So when you put your emotions in check, you can help balance. That's what I call alignment, getting that mind and that heart in alignment. So yes, ma'am.
Rising above emotion into the thinking of God.
That's right.
So hard.
Yes.
That mouth. Okay, the emotions be like, mouth, get going.
Right.
Lay everybody out in the atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Due to a lot. Well, Brother Daoud, tell us about your role in Repair of the Black Family, and as a Black male, how do you feel taking the helm on that?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. My role more specifically is I do a lot of the managing and organizing. So it really depends. I also do a lot of the footwork too. So, I mean, it's beautiful the way that it's set up, because my wife is an excellent face for the brand. And I just love having her do what she does, because she does so well at it, right? She's a people person, and she's a wealth of magnetism, right? She envelopes the right spirit, right, to communicate with, to communicate by, and to pull in or attract, right? So I love the whole goal, the whole vision, the mission of what we do, because it communicates well, especially because do what we do just from a spiritual aspect, but we do believe that it is our personal mission to do what we're doing. So I'm in love.
Yeah, praise be to Allah. We love you both.
Yeah, let me just touch on that. He organizes everything, including me, because Sister Nayyirah can be all over the place sometimes. He keep you just talk about them targets. He keeps us targeted out. Okay.
How beautiful. But I love the creation. I love to watch you two create, even when like you was building your space, and to see you operate in the space now. I just really love it. I mean, you're an example of what you say you're doing and what you want to do. Before we get to the authors and Nayyirah and Brother Daoud, I want you to lay out, like take over that portion of the show for me. What have you found the worst, what would be considered the worst crises that Repair of the Black Family has helped someone come back from? And I asked it that way because people would think, as I heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan one day talk about, a certain situation, and people saying, well, not me, or not mine, or not this, or not that, so people can hear what you do and think it's for someone else. Like, my situation is just too bad.
Absolutely. Suicide. Like, really, it happened in my face, and I wasn't aware that this person was suicidal. But what I did notice is that something was happening. We was at a gathering, we was having a good time, and because of my training, there was a look that came over this person. And it could have happened like that, because truthfully, we was on top of a mountain. Okay. And this person was contemplating jumping off the mountain. We were hiking, and it was a coaching retreat. And the person, they was about to commit suicide, but I seen something. And that's the beauty of caring for people, because you can see beyond the body. Did you hear what I said?
Yes, ma'am.
When you are caring for people, you see them, not just the body. And I was able to see that something wasn't right. And so in that moment, in the midst of everything, I was able to communicate to that person and talk them out of committing suicide. And only she and I knew at the time what was happening. Did you hear me? Only she and I knew that she was about to commit suicide. And it wasn't until later on when she told everybody at the dinner table what had transpired. So that would be, for me, the thing that I could say, okay, God used me to bring somebody back. I've had many other different things, but I can truly say that in that moment, I know that I was just the vessel.
Oh,
yeah, just to add to with this person, she didn't just talk her through. Mm-hmm. She talked her to or into life. Like this person has purpose now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and she confessed that. So I mean, it was really a beautiful thing. My wife did a marvelous job. And she was just the right person for the job.
All praises due to Allah. You see, do you see, Liberated Sisters TV audience, why this is so phenomenal? These are game changers. These are world changers. Sister Nayyirah, thank you, Brother Daoud, for answering that question. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to ask it, but the way it works with me is Allah tells me to do something. If I don't do it, I start getting stomach aches. I don't know. Anybody feel that way in your own life?
Yes. You feel it in your gut.
In your gut, and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And so I'm glad I did, because that I can envision that literally, having gone on a hike with you myself at Sedona. I could, see how when you're up, it's just so easy. I could just dip right there,
Right.
I'm just trying to put myself in sister's shoes in terms of that. But like you said, Brother Daoud, into, and now her life has purpose. And so those that she will touch, are countless. Thank you so much. And now, everyone, we're going to get to the author. So I've gotten just some healing. I love hearing the titles, even so far what they've been sharing on the show now. But just wait until you find out what's in this book. Nayyirah, Brother Daoud, lead this for me, because I want to witness it.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I want to witness this.
Absolutely. So now we have here, I am the visionary author, Sister Nayyirah, and of course my husband, Brother David, Sister Anissa, Brother Vance, Sister Arlena, and you, Sister Charlene. We are writing this book, and I would like to just start out and ask questions, starting with Sister Arlena. Sister Anissa. Okay, Sister Anissa, welcome on board, my beautiful sister.
Thank you all so much for having me, and it's so nice to be here and be amongst these stars like Sister Arlena. I heard you the other day, sis.
Yes.
She rocked it. She totally did. She has such a beautiful story.
God bless you.
Come
yes,
on.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. So, Sister Anissa, go ahead and let's tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do in the world.
Well, I am by trade a health educator and a healthcare administrator. I have been in this line of work helping people to, I don't like using the word manage chronic illnesses, because if I had one, I wouldn't want it managed. I'd want it gone.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I do. And only by Allah's grace and mercy, I'm good at what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I am also a student, working on my doctorate in healthcare administration because I gotta come up with another healthcare system for our people. Because as they used to say in the South, the one that they had going on right now ain't hitting a lick at a stick.
They still say that.
So at least y'all know I'm kind of country, right?
Yes, yes.
We still say that.
So yes, ma'am. And my life has purpose because there is nothing more satisfying to me than to help a person dig deep within themselves so that they can uncover and discover what it is that has them in agreement with the condition that their doctor has diagnosed. Chronic diseases is nothing more than a medical diagnosis to an environmental and a behavioral issue.
Come on.
That's all it is. But they are approaching the cure or the treatment from a medical perspective when it's not a medical problem, which is why people walk around 20, 30, 40, 50 years with a condition that could be prevented.
Come on, Sister.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Right here, let me say something right here. What y'all hearing about to hear too? She is a student minister at Muhammad Mosque number 27.
Okay.
So that spiritual about to flow. Go ahead, Sister Anissa.
Tattletale, no, I'm just playing. Well, that's just, and I just have a passion for it. I didn't even know I had that as a gift. I did it because that's not what I consciously thought that I wanted to do. But Allah guided my feet someplace else. And when I saw that it was Him at the helm, and I started putting my faith and trust and allowing Him to guide me where He wanted me to go, then I began to be more fulfilled as a professional. I started to be more at peace with myself because He allowed me to see myself in what I'm doing to
Look, I totally understand that.
Yes,
Very,
ma'am.
very completely. So, Sister Anissa, you accepted the call
Yes,
to be a
ma'am.
part of this beautiful anthology. And I would like to know from you, what is it? Why the repair of the Black family?
Because it's time. Just like Sister Charlene had shared, and just like you had shared, people have been who know me out here in this city, whether they're in a mosque or not. Sister, you need to write a book. Sister, you need to write a book. So, and I know that I have been contemplating it, but it, like you, it just never came into fruition because I got to get this out the way first, or I got to get that out the way first. And all this other stuff kept replacing the stuff that I'm trying to get out the way. So when you called, just like your husband so eloquently stated, you have this attracting magnetism to your spirit.
Oh, praise.
And I knew and had been watching you since you all kind of went live at your launch. And I like what it is that you do, what you stand for, because our work is very similar. It's just expressed in a different way. And when I saw that you were looking for the authors, I hesitated at first, and then I said, what the heck? She can only say yes or no, right? So I felt very honored to be able to participate in this because Repair the Black Family, our family needs to be repaired on all levels, and it's global. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad put it like this. He said, you don't never have to worry about a job. You got one. And your job is the resurrection of the dead.
That's right.
And that's what Repair the Black Family does. It resurrects one life at a time.
Absolutely. Beautiful. So, Sister Anissa, tell us, what's the name of your chapter?
Mining My Mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Minding your mind.
Minding my mind, because to be able to mind something means you have to dig below the surface to get to the root. And my brand is called Minding My Mind to a Healthier Me. And there's an image of a dude with a light on his head digging below the surface, going toward the root of a tree. And at that root is a pair of hands with a pyramid sitting in the middle of it. And that pyramid, out of that pyramid is growing a tree with a crystal trunk, and the leaves look like, it's shaped like a brain. So you're dealing with the mind, the body, and the spirit, and you have to be able to dig into your mind to figure out what happened that caused me to think the way that I do, because thought precedes behavior, thought precedes action. And we keep, us as a people, I kept running into the same problem, and I found out it was because of the poor view I had about myself. The things that people told me, like, I grew up in the 60s. I'm 62, y'all. So
Understood.
And I was always taught that Black was evil and ugly. You ain't gonna never be nothing.
Come on.
You know, you have a brain, but we can't let you express that because that's dangerous. So all these other images that fed me into thinking that I was less than worthy and had to go along to get along with other people in order to be liked. And that opened the door and the pathway for people to treat me any way that I wanted to be, any way they wanted to treat me. And so my chapter is about letting people know, I understand how you got that way. Our experiences may be different, but our lives are out of order because of how we see ourselves.
Absolutely.
And we gotta be able to see ourselves the way God sees us in order for us to change the trajectory of our lives.
Absolutely. Beautiful. So let me ask you this question. This book is, I'm going to preface it with a statement. This book is intended to change generational cycles, patterns, traumas, dramas. In writing your story, do you believe that your story is a shift from your past and your family? Will it shift the consciousness of your family members that may read your story? Will it cause a shift in thinking or doing or having?
I think that it would. That's what because honestly, dear sister, before you even put it out there like that, I went to visit my family in June. And we got together, you know, me and the cousins and the nieces, and they were looking for answers. And we started sharing stuff. And we found out about all these family secrets. And it's like, well, how come we never talked about it? Because we wasn't allowed to. Can't tell, you can't talk about this. So I think if they read this, they were the actual catalyst as to why I was so willing to talk about my story. Because at some point, them secrets gotta stop. We had to really, and to be honest with you, it's some messed up folk in my family.
And
I pray
The Black family.
Repair the Black family, right? We gotta repair the.
To know that it's okay to talk about it. Your world is not going to get worse. It's going to be enhanced. And we have to, by sharing it, I'm hoping to be able to help those that are coming behind me, whether they are my biological family or not, so that we can stop this intergenerational madness. Because everything that I talked about in my story is still going on today in somebody else's family.
Mm.
Absolutely.
And it's gotta stop. It's gotta stop. It's gotta stop.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sister Anissa. I have one last question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So in you writing your story, what would the reader get from your story that would be different from all of the rest of the 33 authors? What would, from your perspective, what would the reader get from your story?
I think the reader will get a grasp of what this Black woman went through and how no matter what, she was able to rise. No matter how much life got her down, no matter how many oppressors was on her neck, no matter how many situations that she got herself into, when God says, time for you to rise, ain't nothing you can do about that but submit and walk into your destiny. And
Beautiful.
that's what I'm hoping that they can get. Don't be despaired. Understand that you're not the only one in it. You're not the first. You're not the one in the middle. You definitely will not be the last. And if you can just see yourself in my story, then you may be able to find your solution in the life repair work or the action steps that have been left for you.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you, Sister Anita. I mean, see, Sister Charlene, just beautiful, right?
Beautiful.
What I love about this book is that it's solution oriented, right? People will get results by applying the action steps. So, Sister Anissa, I can't wait to fully read your story in its final form. And knowing that as a reader, me reading your story, I shall rise and continue to rise because of your rise. So thank you so very much. And as we continue to go, Sister Charlene, you let me host your show.
Yeah, because you know the titles, you know what they're writing about. But thank you for that, because see, this is where I recognize. I want to talk affirmative, not negatively, but I'll say flaws, for lack of a better term right now. But I'm looking for something more positive. I know what will bring the best out for the viewers, and I know Anissa. So I would question Anissa because I know Anissa like that. And I think that the viewers would miss those nuggets you brought out.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Praises be to
Go ahead.
That's why.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just want to say, you brought something to mind when you said that. And negatives have to be brought out. You made me think of the analogy of a fire, right? Well, the fire can only be put out if you bring water to it, right? But maybe the house needed to be burned down for one or another.
Yeah. Thank you.
See, so the water can't come without the fire.
Yeah. The house can't get rebuilt. And thank you for that, because this is what, can I give an example as we get on, before we go on? I had these 2 dens in my home. And when we first moved in the home, we inherited the home, thank Allah. And I mean, as a new mom, young babies, I love the sunlight. I love natural light. And it was our homeschool room. I mean, the little boy, my son Mustafa, when he would finish his work and go and play with his toys on break, his little puppy would go right down with him and get his ball or bone and play. And I would capture those pictures. And the back then was my office, where I launched Liberated Sisters and other media conglomerates, right? Or conglomerates. See, I just spoke that's coming. But ventures, right now they're ventures. Conglomerates very soon. But we had to let them go because they were poorly built by, these home improvement stores before we got there decades. And rain would just flood those rooms, but not our inner core, thank Allah. And I finally just had to wake up and realize that in order to rebuild it or to have what's useful and good, you're going to have to tear these down. So in creation, there's destruction, which I've learned in training, right? So thank you, Brother Daoud, because sometimes, I create these different exercises to help me stay on a positive note, especially when I'm in certain bandwidth, right? But at the same time, you're right. I don't have to look at it that way. And it doesn't have any force with me. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you.
Look, everyone, let me Let me remind the viewers that this is Liberated Sisters TV at Morris Media Studios. Thank you, Sister Felicia, the Poetess Morris, for having us. We have Sister Nayyirah Muhammad, Brother Daoud Muhammad, Brother Van, and Sister Arlena Jenkins. And we have Sister Anissa Muhammad, authors for The Repair of the Black Family Anthology. They're part of 33 authors. Okay, go ahead, Nayyirah.
All right, beautiful. Thank you, Sister Charlene. You know, one of the aspects of this book that I really love the most is the vulnerability, right? Authenticity, right? And I'm so excited because we have Black men that has been willing to be vulnerable and organic and to tell their story. Like, you don't get men that really want to tell their story, right?
Yeah.
And so as I was thinking about, you know, the chosen ones, the men that has been chosen to be in this book, I'm so excited about my husband. But my husband has a really good friend, right? And I could truly say they're companions in the brotherhood, right? Wow. And Van, he's right here, and his beautiful wife, you know, they set a great example of family. And I want to, you know, touch in on Van, who is my husband's best friend, and I'm gonna say he's my best friend too. We have this inside joke, but nevertheless, they're very good friends to us, and I wouldn't want to do anything without them both, including you, Van. So with that being said, welcome to the show, Van and Arlena. We are so happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So we're going to start with you, Van. Tell us who you are and what you do in the world.
Oh, so my name, of course, I'm Van Jenkins, as we've said previously. I'm a author, speaker, trainer, but I think really what I am is, like everybody else here, a light darkness for people. I feel like what you've asked this question earlier, like what brings it, what about this particular book, what's really special about this particular book and the authors that came together is that we genuinely want to see change. We genuinely want to see healing. We genuinely want to see hope in this world. And what better place to start than our Black family? So who I am somebody, I am looking to bring more hope, more love, healing, prosperity, just to multiple millions of people. Like that is what I am called to do, as well as everybody else here.
Wow. See,
So,
Sister Charlene, you heard
trainer.
that?
I don't know if I've said that, consultant.
Yeah. Yeah. See, the titles are perfect. It all is healing.
Right. Absolutely. Beautiful. So, Van, tell us from your perspective, when you talk about healing, tell us about your journey in writing this book, and has it helped you to heal?
Well, I think the book allows, the story that I do tell, it's from a place that I have actually already healed. I think that the story itself shows basically what I was facing as anybody else would say. And I think that it's from a place of healing. So it's actually able to help those that are in the process or wanting to heal. It just opens up an environment for someone to heal, if that makes sense.
Beautiful. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the name of your title?
Oh, the name of my title is Plant New Seeds. And by that, I mean, see, during those opportunities, I think that when we don't realize through our struggles, those are some of the best times to actually grow new seeds. And what I mean by new seeds is you have an opportunity, you see what you have. It is the perfect opportunity for you to decide where you want to go. If you're in a bad situation, if you're in a situation where it's going to be, it's one that you don't like, you can clearly see what it is that you don't like. Easy. You ask anybody that's in pain, what's wrong with you? And they will run down a laundry list of things that are wrong. But you understand that. But if you understand that, then you can understand that you have the opportunity to go someplace else. And just as Brother Daoud just said, you can't really, that fire is necessary. In some cases, it's necessary in order to see it. And in order for you to truly see where you want to go, you can clearly see where you don't want to go. You know, where you're over here, you're like, well, you know what? If you're dealing with an abusive relationship, you're like, I don't like people hitting me across the head. Easy. I can tell you that all day. So what do you like? And when you decide what that is, you find the direction that you want to go, then you plant new seeds. You begin to take that opportunity and plant what you want. And that is the opportunity that you can change your direction and take you to another point. So what I mean, plant new seeds, it's like the old seeds that you have, you see that crop. You want a new crop? Well, in that time, it's the perfect opportunity to plant new seeds to get what you truly want.
Beautiful. Now, I know a little bit about your story. So in planting new seeds, so you tell your story from being a divorcee, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell the audience of a young Black man, you know, being married, now you're remarried, but you wrote your story from the perspective of being a divorcee? What would you tell a young Black man that has gone through what you've gone through? What's the lesson learned in that?
Oh,
good question.
Honestly, that particular lesson was one of the, how can I say it? It's one of the best experiences of your life if you can truly understand it. Like at the time, of course, you don't see it. You're in pain. It's hurting. You can't tell. But if you hold on and get past that, if you are able to see a few things within that, it can be life-changing. The problem with the chapter is that I could have really written so much more because of what you learned from it. And so if I'm talking to a young Black man, I would tell him simply, listen, understand where you are right now is the perfect place where you need to be to get you to where you're truly meant to go. You understand what I'm saying? If you're put in that position, for me, when I was put in that position, it allowed me to launch in the direction that I was supposed to. It actually, because I was open to the process, because I allowed things to happen, because I decided to allow my feelings to show, which, man, you know, we aren't really allowed to do that, man. You're a man. You're not supposed to cry, and you're not supposed to feel pain. You're supposed to be hard. You know, get all that, man. If you take that process is actually putting you in a place that it's going to help, at least for me, it helped deliver me to my destiny, which brings me to this, where I am now, which is to help heal a lot of wounds that have been opened.
Beautiful. And I love the vulnerability and authenticity in that, because you said, I was open to the process. Mm-hmm. That's the art of healing right there. Allowing the healing to take place, allowing the pain to really be present, right? And face that pain, because oftentimes what happens is most of us will have this pain, but we'll run from the pain. How do we run from it, Sister Anissa? How do we run from it, Sister Arlena? How do we run from it, Sister Charlene? I'm good. Mm-hmm. I'm straight. Right. No, what I'm hearing from you is I allowed this pain to come in. I allowed myself to experience. I opened up to experience because I felt as if I go through this, it's going to position me for something better. And that is the process of repairing the Black family. We don't have to go along to get along anymore. Yeah. We got to stand in and stand up to be really ready and willing to heal. Stand in that pain. But notice, this too shall pass. And how it's going to pass? Because I'm going to go through it and come out on the other side. See this book, Sister Charlene, as I get ready to go over to the, finish up with Brother Van and go over to his wife, this book will show how I got over.
Come on.
How I got over. And if you would take the action steps, as Brother Van so beautiful talked about the lessons learned, there's action steps that if one would take and apply in their life, they too, being in that situation as a divorcee, can allow themselves to go through that without being bitter. Van, would you say that you became bitter from the process?
Ooh.
Mm.
Let me be honest. At the very beginning, I was a little angry. I was very angry, very hurt. Now, see, brother Daoud and sister Nayyirah, now they're laughing, but they know that pain was real because they saw me go through that thing. But I'm not bitter, and that's one of the things that I'm very glad about. I'm sitting next to this woman right now, and I'm not saying this just because she's here. As a matter of fact, I don't want y'all to tell her what I'm going to say. I'm sitting next to this woman right here, and believe me when I say, I don't like the fact that I went through a divorce, but I promise you this. I'm kind of glad I dealt with the process because I got something much, much better. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. That's me. But just understand that physical, the inside is so much more, which makes the outside even better. So to be bitter, I've told her on multiple occasions, being bitter would not have prepared me for her. You see what I'm saying? It would not have allowed me to grow to the point that she and I could work well together. Because I couldn't be in pain trying to be with this one. That wouldn't be a good idea with her. She wouldn't have accepted that anyway. But she's an absolutely wonderful woman, and I'm glad I am, because now because of that, we enhance each other's lives. So bitter now? Absolutely not. Mad at the beginning?
Absolutely.
Yes. I was mad during that process, but that's a part of the process. I felt those feelings and I was able to process them. And bitter? No, man, I don't hold on to any of that. I actually wish my ex-wife the best.
And that's a beautiful statement right there, because I've heard, and I don't know if you've heard this, Sister Charlene or Sister Anissa, my husband, and then anyone else that's listening. Once one experiences a divorce, it's like I'm never getting married again. That's where I'm talking about the bitterness, that we can overcome and truly know that love is accessible. True love is accessible. So that's thank you, Van. That's the questions that I have for you. And in closing with you, give us one thing that you would want the reader to apply from your story.
One thing to apply, just one thing. I only have one.
Yeah. One thing.
Okay, just one thing.
Just one thing, sir. Thank you, because we want them to be interested in reading your story. Now, you don't want to tell it all on the radio.
Well, I will say what we've already mentioned. Allow the process to happen. Allow the process to happen. It is very, very necessary. Flowers cannot grow unless the rain falls. You just cannot have one. You can't have it. So it's necessary to have those moments in order to grow you into who you truly are supposed to be. And we're I'm gonna try to slow down because I have more. No, we don't have. But I know that we're creators. We've been made in the image of a creator, and understand when it's time for you to grow, it's time for you to create. It's time for you to create new things. And so therefore, listen, just trust the process. Just trust the process.
Wow.
Beautiful.
And I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there.
I'll teach
I'm gonna leave it there.
Yes.
This book.
Trust the process. What did you say, Sister Charlene?
I told the sisters audience, y'all better get this book. This book is a bestseller. It's already sold out. Get it. And we'll tell you how it's all over today.
Absolutely. Sister Charlene, I want to bounce back to Sister Arlena, because I can't wait to talk about your story. Right. So Sister Arlena, welcome. And you get to sit next to your husband. Yes, ma'am. Beautiful. Sister Arlena, I want to thank you so much for your passion to help restore and repair the Black family. And one of the things that I've come to learn about you in, listening and reading parts of your story and being a woman of faith, Yes, so let's talk about that. What is it to be a woman of faith, and how does that play a role when it comes to repairing the Black family?
It's a certain assurance, and thank you, by the way, for having us on the show, and also a part of this a wonderful movement. We have been totally blessed during the process, and we're grateful to be here and to be just a part of the repair of the Black family. And Anthology, it's amazing to do. You know, it's a wonderful thing to be present.
Right.
Let's just start there. And my heart is full and ready to pour out. So I'm grateful. Woman of faith. I have a certain assurance when it comes down to that. And I mentioned before that I think I've had it, well, I know I've had it since I was a little somebody. So just cultivating that and walking in that and understanding that is key. Understanding what it is, what faith is, to heal and spread love, and so that it may grow, you know, and understanding what love is. And it's a whole multitude of things that come from faith, you know, having a certain mindset, a certain assurance, a certain you know, what like the old people used to say, I know what I know, what I know.
Right.
You know, it's a thing when you know what you know, you know, and then activate that and start to use that in the process of healing the Black family and the repair of the Black family mission. So I'm grateful for that.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes, ma'am. And I think I skipped the question, who are you? And we do know who you are. And what do you do in the world?
I am Arlena Jenkins. I'm a cosmetologist by way of, you know, I've been doing it for years. Again, ready to retire. And to do, I'm a soloist, singer, producer. I do a whole lot. Yes. I do a CEO of companies. I've done stage plays, an actress, and stage play manager. I've done so much, and my children are very, very talented. So I've managed and helped them along the way, and they are very, very real talented family. We, you know, in the music industry, we just, you know, and I basically use my voice. Allowed God to use my voice to reach others to heal. So what I do in the world is that, and I feel like God has placed me here for to heal His people and make them aware of their to those cultivating.
And so thank you for that. And as you wrote your story, you know, each story is unique, has its own unique struggle. What was your struggle? Like what the audience get as it relates to struggle from your story?
I've had many in my life, of course. People look at me and say, you know, oh, she's not been through nothing, you know, she's young, whatever. But I've had many struggles, and I got to tell one of the struggles in this particular book, in this particular chapter, in my chapter about seizure epilepsy, you know, and just being ill and learning how and cultivating my mind, how to come from focusing on that sickness, from focusing on that to going into healing and focusing on healing. Basically, training your mind to do that is key to your healing. And understanding you know, so a whole from how you speak. So it's a lot.
I understand. One of the key factors that you said in it is, you know, reprogramming your mind from the sickness reshape, reform our minds from the sicknesses that plagues the family. And you dealt with yours in particular, coming from epilepsy, to living. And that is, and the power of the tongue, speaking life, even in what the world would see as dying situations, but you was able to speak life. And I think that's very key when it comes to healing the Black family, because especially as the woman, our condition and what we've gone through, the different illnesses that we have to fight as it relates to stress. Was your epilepsy, was it connected to stress, or how did that come about?
Absolutely. In learning, when I first found out that what it was, the doctors gave it a title, I was like 25. I think I was 25, but I had been having these episodes unknowingly, for years. And I just thought I don't know, I didn't pay it no attention, until I actually started going to the doctor for them, because they progressed over time. So actually, I feel like that I didn't forgot the question.
It's okay. It's okay. It was really dealing with stress. I don't want to get us too much into that, but I got it.
Yes. Stress. Now, I learned by my doctor told me to focus on your body, like learn your body. So I started to learn what epilepsy was, how it related to me, how it affected me. I learned that when I was the most stressed, I was having more seizures. Even when I thought about having a seizure, even when just the thought process of having one made me have another one. And even the thought process of even having to explain to the doctor, I would go to the doctor's appointments and they would ask me, well, every single time they asked me, well, what happened before they came on, and how were you during, and then how did you feel after? I had to relive the seizure in my mind and actually spew it out of my mouth to tell the doctor what it was. And every time I got that, I got a whole clamp of anxiety, and I felt horrible because I had to refill it, because I would explain these things, because to me, these episodes felt like death. So having to explain death every single time that I had, a seizure, or every single time I had an episode, it was, weighing on me. It was something to deal with. So the stress of even, thinking about it, the stress of going through, I have 5 children and I adopted 3 more, from care. So dealing with that, and also losing my 5 children's husband, and having to take on that, my five children's father, I had to take on that, whole family by myself, and not that I didn't have any help from my other family, but, having to deal with 5 grieving children, and then having to deal with 3 other children out of, care. So it was a whole lot going on in my life, and the stress was the number one key that brought me to those episodes. I would say, yes, it had a whole lot to do with it.
Wow. You see that, Sister Charlene? The power of the Black woman. And it leads me to know why you have a story of faith, and being faithful in your walk, and why, the power of the tongue is so important. So as we wrap it up with you, Sister Arlena, what would you want a woman that's dealing with stress? What can you tell her right now on how to get over?
You can't do it all. And if you, and I know you've probably heard this before, if you're listening, you can't, if you're not able to do it, then who's going to do it? If you're ill, then who's going to do it? God is, our source is there to help us do and mind us in the direction that we need to go. And he will never leave us or never forsake us. And he will always give us what we need when we need it, whether it is financial help, whether it is, supportive help, whatever it is, it's there. But we have to allow people to help us, and God will place people in our lives to do that. So you can't take it all on yourself. You need to, de-stress and stop worrying about things and stop trying to do it all, because it's not all on you to do. That's why God gave us community.
Absolutely.
That's why he gave us the Black family.
Absolutely.
That's why, cultivating that
Yes, ma'am.
and learn how to accept help and learn how to mind yourself, whereas you won't be as stressful. Don't put the focus on the stress. Put the focus on the solution. And you'll be able to come out of that.
Absolutely.
Yes,
beautiful. Now you see
that right there is why I'm gonna keep her around. That right there. Keep that one.
This is why
Phenomenal.
this book is going to be absolutely amazing. What I hear in you, Sister Arlena, and for all of the authors, is we're providing an avenue for people that's going to read this book to unburden themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you read these stories, there's going to be a therapeutic action that's going to take place from within. And we don't have to suffer in silence. That we can now, not that we haven't before, but in a collective manner, be able to help the Black man and woman and child in any family to be able to unburden themselves by knowing that you are not alone. You are not alone. And if I can make it, so can you. So thank you, Sister Arlena. All right, y'all. Look, we get ready to wrap this up and turn it up at the same time. I'm coming to the beautiful final call writer, Pumps on the Ground, my beautiful sister from the West Coast, right? Listen, liberated sisters. Look, when you can liberate the Black woman, we get to liberate the world.
That's right. That's right.
Because the new civilization is going to come through. It is coming through us. Yeah. And so to have you in this book, Sister Charlene, is truly liberating. And I know you already introduced yourself, but there's a Sister Charlene that the world maybe don't know outside of Pumps on the Ground, Liberated Sisters, Final Call. I want us to let us get to know that, Sister Charlene.
Okay.
How are you? And what do you do as mother, as Sister Charlene, as daughter, as sister, as friend? Let us get to know that, Sister Charlene.
All right. All praises due to Allah. Sister Nayyirah, thank you so much for you all being on the show. I'm telling you, whenever I hear things like I just heard from all of you, it's really inspirational. I cannot wait for this book. I don't know if you can see it and Brother Daoud can see it, but I went in yesterday and was like, oh, let me get the titles again. Because like, oh, I can't wait. And I mean, not this one over that one, all of them. So let me not deflect. You asked me about me. What do you want to know?
Okay, who are you as mother, as wife?
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, thank Allah for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who absolutely saved my life. Leading me and bringing me to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and allowing me and showing me how to be a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad under his guidance and leadership has absolutely sustained me up to this point. And the more I submit and I pay attention and not just read his words, but study his words and apply his words, I see growth and development in myself. And I see people around me coming up as well. I'm a wife. My husband is Amin Ali Muhammad, and I am a mother of two, Akila and Mustafa, and I have a son-in-law, Jabril. My husband also has two sons, Askia and Farid, and so the chapter on blended family, Brother Daoud, I can't wait to read your chapter. Well, don't forget.
Yes, you got to question him.
Yeah, that's a about your chapter. So anyway, that's yeah, you know, wife and mom, like everybody else, wife and mom. But I really love disseminating good news. I love distributing the good news in that. And I think Allah blessed me with the perfect family for me because they get it and they either participate or they just don't get in the way, right? I don't know if that makes sense to y'all. Like when
it makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Okay, when I need them there, they're there. When I need them to understand that I'm out, I'm gone, I'm gone. And Pumps in the Ground talks a lot about that. Again, the book, which you know, Sister Student Minister Dr. Ava Muhammad, Dr. Boyce Watkins, Dr. Julianne Malvo, economist, they contributed Brother Abdul Qiyam Muhammad, Brother Hannibal, Brother Reginald out of St. Pete. You know, many people helped to bring that. But it, you know, what I do is I'm still trying to figure that out, honestly. I could have told you that maybe before August 28th, when my granddaughter was born. I could have told you that, but my whole world has been shifted, rechanged. And what that means is I've been looking at me more. What do I want to be? What do I want to do? And what do I want to have? And I came to a very uncomfortable place that showed me that many, if not almost all of the things, it couldn't be all because the being has to sustain itself. But many of the things I was doing were for other people. Every level, including the privilege of writing for the paper. I would approach it in terms of how would the minister appreciate this? You know, even down to my uplinks, is this what they want? But then I started having to say, what do I want the reader to feel and get out of this? You know? So I've always wanted to be a TV news anchor ever since I was a little girl growing up in Opelousas, Louisiana. And but I just sat there and and the activism, the social activism came in because I was little. My mom would be combing my hair, you know, them big tall beds in the South.
Yes.
And you know, the TV used to go off, but she'd be combing my hair at night and in the morning, and I would see the little Palestinian boys throwing rocks at tanks. And as I grew up, they were still throwing rocks at tanks. I graduated college. Well, no, that's not true. I graduated high school. They're throwing rocks at tanks. I went to Southern. And so they're still throwing rocks at tanks. And that perplexed me. It really, really did. So all of that. Yeah, I just couldn't understand, like, what is this? And then, you know, you would have the same piece in the Middle East. I grew up, you know, in the hip hop. And I didn't understand that. But then it all started connecting when I met the minister. You know, when he did Stop the Killing. And that put me on a purpose because I grew up in Louisiana. I grew up in the Jim Crow South. I grew up with my father being taken advantage of by white construction owners and using him as a front name, but giving him pennies and they're taking the wealth. And I grew up with this racism where we knew the lines in the South versus in California, where I went into culture shock, right? Of, you know, thinking everybody's your friend on the same page and getting, just as Anissa said, just run amok by people who like you. But what was my role and responsibility? So what I do right now is continue to seek to liberate myself, because until you're totally free, I feel you're not free, but on that road, and really finding out, well, why aren't you free? Is it something outside of yourself, Charlene, or is it you? So the more I realize my connection to my bondage, baby, it's been phenomenal. You know, people would ask me to do things, I would be scared to move. What is so-and-so going to think? What is this person going to think? Whether it was husband, children, really? What do children want to think? They're children. They're your children. So once I got to lift my own voice, that's when I came up with Liberated Sisters, or God gave me that idea, because I realized that as we talk about respect and protect the Black woman, as we talk about Liberated Sisters, our freedom, it's not true unless you make it true. It's just not true unless you make it true. And so I set out to do that. And the way Liberated Sisters came about was I was part of a collective I was invited to a collective of women in media, and I didn't want to do it because I was afraid. I was afraid of my own voice. I didn't think I could think, like you said, Anissa, all those things we were told, you know, I believed them. Too stupid, too black, too ugly. Nobody want to hear you, blah, 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 blah. And I just didn't, you know, I always hid behind the minister. Say what he said, and you can't go wrong, right? That's good. But he also gave you a voice. So you have to make it your own and say what he said. But you might be talking to somebody who cannot hear Farrakhan for whatever reason. So how are you going to get that across to them? And I was part of a collective that really didn't want to hear from men. They were so abused, so misused by whomever was in their atmosphere that they just didn't want to hear it. And someone actually told me that I would be hurt to turn on the air and hear Farrakhan said this, Farrakhan said that. So as I was a new person, I was building this show, but I went to have my baby. When I came back as a new member, I just went slow because I was still learning. I had never done radio. But at a certain point, that group dissipated and I was presented with, we need you to do something or we're going to lose this space for Black women. And I called it Liberated Sisters, right? Just like that. All I said.
Wow.
Sisters. And so, and that's what it has been. But I found out that in all of that, I've been liberating myself. And so Repair Family has been a part of that. Nayyirah, you are such an example. I know you know, but I got to say it right now that the level of your beingness and the level of how you operate, just being yourself, is a healing. And it provides that to me. I'm telling you, when we were introduced to Dianetics, I already knew that something was going on with student minister Abdul Malik Saeed Muhammad, then Brother Tony. And I told him, what you got? Because I want it. He said, don't worry, everybody did it. And then when I saw you leading the charge, I was like, great. And when I say leading the charge, I mean such an outspoken, open example going deeper and deeper into that science. So at any rate, what I do is I attempt to be myself, and I attempt to give space and a voice to other sisters and girls, women, Black women, Indigenous women, and girls who need a place to give their message without constraint, because that's what I had suffered all this time. And really, to close it out, the way that came about was I was just a loved little girl. But everything started looking the same as I grew up and failed to, did not know how to discern spirit, right? So I was a twin, children, 8 in the family, and I was the baby, and my twin died. And so I just remember being coddled, sheltered, everyone did everything for me. And I didn't know I felt how to do anything for myself. And my mom and I talk about it often, you know, and I thought no one told me. I thought I didn't know, but I did know, but I blocked it out. So when I woke up to it, I was like really upset. Like, why didn't you tell me I had a twin? They did. I shut it all down. So that's Liberated Sisters means a lot. And it's different things to it. But at the end of the day, Liberated Sisters and Pumps on the Ground go hand in hand. And that's what I do. I go to the scene of crime committed against us. This has mostly been police violence and street violence. And I couldn't understand why, Nayyirah and everyone. And it came out as I was writing the book. It came up and it came out that my own father was a victim of gun violence. And that's why I gravitated to it, because I didn't understand who would kill my father and why. So I said that to say, that's what I do. And I do write for the Final Call, but I want you to know that it was very hard to write that chapter.
which we're about to dig into, right? Right. You're so powerful, Sister Charlene. And no, it's totally fine because we want to know you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's so powerful. Before I talk about this story, you know, one of the most impactful things that I've ever seen you do, and you was just totally in your element, and you helped to bring comfort to those of us that couldn't be right there on the scene. And that was the coverage of Nipsey Hussle. What I seen in you and what I seen come from you the courage that, like, to me, that was a prepared a Black family, because the people minds was chaotic. People was hurt. And I mean, you was just, I mean, I don't know what your news stations out there, but they had nothing on you. You shed all that, right? And so for me, that's just one of my most caring and most passionate times of seeing you in your element was just absolutely beautiful for me. And so as I ask you this question, when I see you, Sister Charlene, I think about what we are taught as it relates to the shock of the hour, which is going to be a grievous thing, right?
Yes, it is.
But I believe individually, on a personal level, we all have those moments where it's the shock of the hour.
Mm-hmm. Moments.
So, right? That thing is real personal, right, Sister Anissa?
Mm-hmm.
The shock of the hour in your life. And as you wrote in the story, as you wrote your story, is there a shock of the hour as it relates to your chapter? For you, is it a shock of the hour?
I'm gonna keep it real. You know,
Keep it real.
Under hearing TV, like I've heard this. You've heard before. Black women don't tell their age and they don't tell their weight. Well, whatever. You look. First of all, Nipsey. Can I just mention that?
Yes.
You know,
Yes, absolutely.
Pray for Ground Zero, Slauson and Crenshaw, because it's not settled. Okay, so just pray. The property is blighted. You know, the company has continued on with the marathon. They're doing things online, but the situation with Nipsey's murder is not settled. And so, yeah, that was an experience. It still is an experience. But the shock. Well, first of all, the shock was waking up and weighing almost 300 pounds.
Wow.
Let me tell you about that. That was a shock. And when you see the shock of the hour in the chapter, many shocks, you know, I don't know. I got to ask them. I don't know if it's too late. I think I had already asked them. I put it, but there's a picture I have that I call Looking for My Sister out of a play from our student emeritus, Western Region Captain Alice Muhammad. And she did this play, Looking for My Sister. She asked me to produce it for several years. It's a great play, but I've used that picture to say I'm looking for her, because that's how I was when I came in, right? When I heard the teachings. And at any rate, I was weighing properly, here especially, right? But that was the shock, Sister Nayyirah. Looking at that scale, I didn't have to look at the scale. I'm like, you're buying bigger sizes. Every week, every month, what's happening? You know, I'm not one to glutton out or do anything. I swore I was adhering to How to Eat to Live, but the shock was to see how far away from Allah God that I got, because that's what it is for me. It's called different things. We pin it different things, but at the end of the day, the shock of the hour for me that resonates with this chapter is how far my connection to my God got, how far away I got from that. And when I was minded through the teachings, through hearing Minister Farrakhan, through going back to How to Eat to Live, to going back to the books, to looking at it. I mean, like standing in the mirror, straight up. You know, people would tell me, well, all you have to do is keep skating. Yeah, no, it wasn't. These are physical things that add to. But here, when we're taught that the burden that's mental and spiritual is real, that's when I realized, wow, this last 2 years of, I would call them solitude, but they haven't been. But in terms of COVID and what it presented to me in terms of being able to have a quiet space and just deal with myself. I couldn't do it with anybody else. I didn't have anybody to fuss over. I didn't have anybody to blame for why I couldn't do this for me, because I had to do it for them. There was none of that. I took it all away. And so that was the greatest shock. There's been many shocks, but that was the big one. That great game. But I found out where it came from.
Yes, and that's my next question. Like, how did you handle that? Like, you said you was disconnected.
Yeah.
From Allah God. How did you reconnect to unburden?
Oh, sorry. To unburden and
No,
what?
to unburden your mind, which ultimately, as a result, we can see it unburden that weight.
Yeah, girl, it sure did. I prayed.
Go, girl.
I did. I mean, sincerely and earnestly for myself. I didn't add me at the end of the prayer like, oh, me too. Or it's a given. Well, of course, I'm praying, so obviously me. No, I literally focused on me. I became selfish. I've been called selfish, but I literally became selfish. I did. I became selfish. I just went into book mode. I have went back into this book because when I wrote it, I put it down. I didn't touch it. I put it down. I said, it's out. Whew. I just wanted it out. I wanted to accomplish the cycle. I picked, I'm reading my book. You ever wrote a book? Ahead.
Come on.
I'm reading the book. Closing the gap. I went back to it. I'm like, you got a triple gap, sis. And this young brother here, Kun Fire Kun, Dr. Brother, Dr. Ben X.
Yes.
These are just 3. I just finished A New Way of Life by Minister Ava.
Yes.
So I reconnected. I became selfish with my time in terms of what I absolutely didn't have to do for anything or anyone. I just stayed right there. And I became honest about what I was looking at. That's how I unburdened. I said, beautiful. I'm not buying another, because we love the garments, right, y'all? Right? Sister Arlena, we love it.
I know I do.
We love
it. Beautiful.
We love it. So Newell, Mother Khadijah's clothing line had a sale. And I said, I'm not buying another garment until I'm in a 2. Okay? At that time, a 2X. I said I didn't, because I like certain one. I love her princess cut. And I went to work and I got into the 2 and I said, okay, well, you can buy another one. And I stopped looking at it. And I just started thinking about what and who was in my environment. How am I relating to them and they're relating to me? What am I adding or, just assessing. I just did a total assessment.
Minding my mind.
Minding my mind of what I needed.
My God. No, it's totally fine.
Yeah. And I actually separated from a lot of things.
Absolutely.
At the time, either I didn't understand or I understood fully were not good for me. And then I said, what is it about you that plays a factor here, right? What is the part about you in this equation? What's your responsibility? And I just went to work on myself. And I'm still working on myself. So that's how I have been unburdening Nayyirah, through the connection to Allah God, keeping my eye on the prize, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his helpers, and staying steady. How to eat to live. Fall. Oh,
steadfast.
I fall.
Steadfast.
Time. However, I forgive myself and I get right back up. I'm very.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When I hear your story, and I think about words that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said to me. He said, you have to know how to maneuver through the minefields. And so what I'm hearing is you maneuver through your own minefield. Because when you look at a minefield, there's always a little something that can, that can put you in a trap and blow you up.
Blow you up in any moment.
Right?
Yeah.
But let alone you was blowing up those inner demons.
Yeah.
That was keeping you disconnected from self and God.
Yeah.
So Almighty God Allah. So I asked you this question. What's the name of your chapter in the book?
Ooh, it is The Key Within.
Okay.
And it doesn't have a subtitle, but if it were to have one, what I envision for it is, you are what you eat, and I have a strike through on eat. And it's actually, you are what you think, right? And so it's tapping inner thoughts to because it starts within, right? So it's tapping inner thoughts and power to shed excess weight, because that's what it is. Because I looked at it, Nayyirah, it's not triple big plates of food. Sometimes it's a portion size 2, maybe 3. Yeah, it depends on what my mom or whoever I love cooked that day, right? But it wasn't that. I really had to look. Was there eating outside of the proper times and maybe the wrong food? Absolutely, especially when your pump's on the ground. I don't always have a sack pack coming, but it wasn't that. It wasn't that. All the noise, all the chatter, all the button pushing from outside of self. I'm like, oh, it's not true. It's not true. I'm not what you say I am. It's not. And even myself.
Wow.
We talk to ourselves.
Wow.
It's
Absolutely.
not so pretty sometimes.
Absolutely.
So yeah, the key within.
So, beautiful. I love that. Thank you. And so as we're continuing to talk about the Repair the Black Family Anthology, I would like for you to give to the listening audience, especially dealing with the woman, in particular the Black woman who suffers from obesity, obesity of the mind, obesity of the spirit, obesity of the heart, right? For real. And the physical obesity, that is like a silent killer in the Black community. What advice or solution would you give to speak into that obesity, being overweight, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically?
Oh, sister, thank you. We cannot run from ourselves. So sit down and peace be still, as a wise man once reminded me. Just have a seat. We cannot run from ourselves. We can move to Texas. We can move to Atlanta. We can move to North Carolina. But guess what's coming with you? Everything that you left in the last place. So what I would say is look at it. Get the mirror and take a look. And forgive yourself. And get up and go to work. It's what I had to do. I had to sit down and confront it. You, Charlene, were out of order. Period. If I can't be honest with myself, you don't stand a chance. Right? And so I would tell them that they are not what they eat. They are what they think. Because we have some very beautiful sisters eating some very healthy food that they got right out of their gardens, but they may be obese. Why? There's something burdening their spirit. If they were like me, I don't know. But if you're like me, unburden your spirit and connect with your creator. Ask him how, what, and to show you the steps to take. See, that's where I would fall short. I would pray for something, Nayyirah, and it would just come out. I'm like, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, I wasn't specific.
Wow.
Date, time, what color, how am I going to do this? Show me how to do this, God.
Yes.
And I would tell them, first and foremost, I love you and God loves you.
Yes.
No matter who doesn't act, say, or think, or treat you that way. How do you treat yourself? What do you want for yourself? Because that's the key. We are God-fearing women. There is nothing, I want to echo the words of student minister, Dr. Ava Maham here. There is nothing that we want as the co-creators with him that we cannot reach into the ether and get.
Come on.
So what do you want, sister, who may be obese? What do you want? Do you want to be obese? Well, then you will continue to be obese. But if you don't want that, I'm telling you, you couldn't have told me that I would see results in 2 years. I thought it was a lifelong light. It didn't come on overnight as we're taught. It ain't gonna go off overnight, but it went off faster than it came on. But it's what we believe, sister. Do not believe the lies. There's a show Ava DuVernay has on the CW, and it's about a little Black girl, beautiful girl, Naomi. She's a superhero. Are you all familiar with that?
No.
Turns out she's a superhero. You know, I love that. So she's finding out that she's a superhero. And the tagline in the first show is, don't believe everything you think. Even though I say you are what you think, it's like, what are we thinking about ourselves, sisters? Allah loves you. So whatever, if it's overeating or if it's malnutrition, because I found out that. See a doctor, see a holistic health doctor, see whoever it is that you want to see about your weight, excess weight. And as a matter of fact, also stop claiming it as yours, because that's what I was doing. Oh, I got to get rid of
Say that part.
Oh, my weight. I just got, that ain't mine.
Yes.
That belong
Yes.
to me.
That's right. That's right.
Pushed it out. And when the triggers come, I recognize them. I recognize what made me sedentary. Okay. Being a journalist is a sedentary lifestyle, but that's only if you sit at the desk 24 hours. And that's why I started putting pumps on the ground. A journalistic field is very sexist. I don't know if you know that or not. That's why I started putting pumps on the ground. Brothers put boots on the ground. I put pumps on the ground. You have to find ways, sisters, that make you happy. And there are many. But the lie of the comfort food is a killer. I want to just say that. There's no comfort food.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, the comfort is in God. But yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Thank
you.
Nayyirah.
Look, you on fire, sister. I can't wait to read your chapter. You know, as we continue to talk about the repair of the Black family anthology, you know, as I hear you speak, and I want to turn this digital microphone over to you because so you can question my husband.
That's right.
But as I hear you speak, the thing that came up in my mind, and this is for every reader, every listener, the first law of nature is self-preservation.
That's right.
And you are the answer to your prayers. Every thought is a prayer. So the key within is the keys to your mind in minding, like sister said, minding your thoughts, knowing that if you want your prayers answered, think a better thought.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you ain't hear that.
Right.
If you want your prayers answered, think a better thought. Why? Because prayer without works is dead. So the first work is changing your mind. The first law of nature is self-preservation. So I can't wait. The key within.
That's right.
You know, each and every one of you, I thank God. I thank Allah for his mercy to have mission-minded men and women and youth that's ready to take this book, which is a tool to alleviate, unburden the minds and the hearts of our poor and suffering people as another avenue. Like this book is going to serve as an exodus plan for some people that's traumatized, living in trauma. Trauma is all around us. Trauma has always been around us. But every single day we get an opportunity in modern day times to use modern day methodologies that will help to free the minds and hearts of our people. And I gotta say this as the visionary author, this book is one of those tools that's gonna help our people continue to march towards that freedom from within, to absolutely obtain freedom from without. So I'm gonna turn it back over to our beautiful guest and host, Sister Charlene Muhammad.
Praise be to Allah. Sister Nayyirah, thank you so much for bringing all of that out of the co-authors, and thank you so much for being here. And Brother Daoud, I couldn't wait till we did the show today because I loved what you shared on closing the gap. You all did a great job on closing the gap.
Thank you,
closing the gap for that. That was phenomenal, and the reaction of the people are ready. Brother Daoud, let's talk about your chapter. Now we got to talk about your chapter too before we close out. And we have, we have, looks like 25 minutes, so that's perfect. Brother Daoud, let's talk about your chapter and how did you decide to write about that?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I decided to write about that actually because my wife suggested it.
Okay, good. Oh, good. And wait, what's the name of your chapter? The name of your chapter?
No, but
what's the name of your chapter?
A blended family experience.
Teach.
So, but I just want to say something, Sister Charlene, before I go any further. When my wife suggests a thing, sometimes I know it's not her. It just comes through her.
Come on.
So I don't have to, it's not a big deal, that it didn't come from me.
Right.
I didn't want that anyway.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But
Teach.
if I'm so thankful that Allah had his eye on me, because I'm telling you, he has really awarded and rewarded me
Mm, 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 mm.
to sit and learn at my wife's table. I mean, I really thank Allah for the experience. It's just been a wonderful journey, and I'm just thankful. I'm really grateful.
Praise be to Allah.
All
I'm
praises
feeling
to
all of
Allah.
that. I feel
As y'all can feel that I get very uneasy, but I just have to put myself, peace be still and be present.
yes, ma'am. Well, it's all praises due to Allah because I could understand what the brother is saying. Brother Daoud, I do. You
Yes.
experience it as her husband. I experience it as her sister. I'm like, oh. Start talking. No, but look, brother, let's testify. Brother Daoud, isn't it a beautiful thing? See, the blessing that you have is you recognize it. Because some men or women, for the reverse, don't recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I recognize that in my walk of faith, Allah has challenged me on many different levels. But when I was younger, I prayed for a wife. I was 15, actually.
Wow.
And in my prayer, I asked that she loves me for me. And I didn't realize, of course, until later that I needed to love her as an example to how I wanted her to love me.
Hmm. Mm.
Even Allah.
Allahu Akbar.
Akbar.
I thought I had some tissue.
Even as I sit here and I listen, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us well on the value of the female. And he just really helped me to begin to look at me to see what it was that I needed to do to love her. And I'm saying this because if it wasn't for that, then I couldn't even recognize having a blended family experience. So, there's so much divinity in the Black woman. We really, really, really have to honor and respect what God has allowed us to experience as men, and really step aside and really choke the hell out of our ego, because it kills everything. It kills everything. If we just paid attention to the Black woman's experience historically, should be enough to not want to cause any more harm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here, Brother Daoud. You got me stumped. I'm just like, I'm still on the recognition and everything that, see, this is so powerful. I can't wait to get into your chapter because you were talking about your relationship with your wife. So we can just imagine, everyone, how that trickles down or how that translates to the children, you know? So thank you for sharing that, Brother Daoud. How do you approach a blended family in your chapter? You know, because it used to be, well, there's so many different types of ways the family is blended now. You know, you all see what I'm saying? Like, it used to be either you had cousins that maybe a siblings children you had to take in because of, you know, death, or let's face it, crack, right? Which was pumped into our neighborhood, but stay here. Or, you know, as Arlena and Van, you know, divorce. But there's other ways now. There's so many different ways. So how do you approach it?
I think the most important thing is recognizing and playing your role first. You know, a person has to agree that they have a role to play. And without that agreement, then you come in all over the place. Especially from a male perspective, you know, I just spoke a little bit about ego. And it's just not necessary. Just keep it simple. Just keep it simple. Be you. Go in observing and offer versus impose. You know, just offer. That's it. That's really as simple as I want to keep it, because, you know, we love to add complexity. We love to add that. We almost want a challenge. Like, matter of fact, you just reminded me, Cedric the Entertainer,
My boy.
in Kings of Comedy, he said, I wish I would. You know, we work off that syndrome, right? Off that mentality. And it's not necessary. It's really not necessary. I mean, no one has threatened you. No one has harmed you. And, you know, as a man, just be humble. Just be humble. It really can take you a long way.
Wow. Thank you. Do you address in your chapter, I don't want to go, Nayyirah, I won't go all up in, I know you're going to check as if I do, but do you address the impact on children of a new father figure coming into the home via marriage, and how, you know, like, does the male consider the uncertainty or the worry, or maybe from, let's say if there's male children, but even female children may feel like, I have to, you know, square up my position here with this new dad.
Right. Thank you for the question. Not necessarily. I do touch on it a little bit. I'm gonna tell you why. Because, like you said, there are so many different ways that a challenge can be presented that you literally can talk about it all day, all night long, right? So I didn't want to get lost in any one way. I just really wanted to share my experience and really just focus on the mindset that a person can have, which can really be pretty selfish coming into a relationship from whatever angle like that, whether it's male or female. So I just really wanted to hone in on the idea of even a person's approach. Because what happens is we come into the relationship thinking, okay, well, this gonna be different. So there's already a mentality of separation because you're thinking you're different, right? I ain't been here from the beginning, so I don't know how they're gonna look at me funny, but they probably is gonna look at me funny. So if they're gonna look at me funny, then I probably better come in and really just show everybody. This is the conversation you having in your mind, right?
Right.
That I ain't to be played with, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. And like I said, I mean, that is the approach of how I come in my story without going too far in depth. But I just think it's absolutely necessary that you just define your role and play that role to a T. Don't step on nobody's toes.
Brother Daoud, you just made me think of something. Oh my God. I'm gonna ask you another question and then we'll close out with the visionary author for today. But Brother Daoud, you made me think of something. Because in just what you said there, this is on blended chapters, but should a brother who is not in a blended family not look at this as something that he can learn from? Because I'm thinking about some households and I'm like, maybe the non-blended daddy need to think like that with his own children.
Well, you know what? You say something that's very key. No, he should pay very close attention, because I had to do that with my biological children, because again, it goes back to differentiation or separation. You know, you just don't want to even imply it in your spirit. Listen, intention speaks first, regardless of what you might say or even sometimes how you do it. But there's going to be some flaw that's going to be expressed because your original intention, your original thought is going to display in your activity somewhere. So you just really, really, really better hone in on your role. And like I said, and just play it to a T. The quote that I give in my story is, to have something as valuable or invaluable as family, to be seen or taught as a devalued whole, places a need to see differentiation, which is separation. Period.
Wow.
You have a family. You don't have a blended family. You have a family. At the end of the day, that's all it is.
I'm so happy he said that, because that's what I wanted to. That's the part right there. You know, that's the key. You know, I don't want to interrupt that part, but that's it right there. That's the sum total of everything. When you're dealing with blended family, it's the establishment, and that don't start with the children. That starts with the couple.
Yes.
That starts with the adult adults. Define family, because what family is to me may have not been what family was to him, but we had to establish our family.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Come on.
You right? Because we're coming from two different backgrounds, two different walks of life. And remember, he came into an already made family with 3 children. And I had already lived that life before him as a whole nother family. So we had to establish, what does family look like for me? What does family look like for him? And how was it going to look like for our family? And that is one of the successful keys that one can take when you're dealing with a blended family. Because it's not, you know, you have women that go into blended families. It's not always on the man. You have women that go into ready-made families, you know? So I feel like that is the most important thing, and be willing to accept, you know, be willing to accept what comes along with the package, or don't deal with it at all. You know, don't even get involved with that. And I have, you know, to be transparent, my husband and I, we talked about this, because I had 3 children, right? I already knew, just to be straight up, I didn't want somebody that already had children. I just, so that's that part where don't deal with it at all, right? If you're not gonna deal with it, why? Because of the simple fact that I already knew what it took to be that mother to somebody else's children, but also dealing with the woman. And I was in an immature state. It had nothing to do with the other woman. I wasn't ready, because I was still had a mentality that wasn't of a godly mentality. It takes a godly woman. It takes a woman that knows herself, that's confident within herself, to be able to rear somebody else's children and be a mother to those children and be a friend to the woman.
Come on. Yes.
You know,
I wasn't ready, but thank God now, you know, I'm a different woman. So I have a different mindset. But that's why I say you got to be ready for that.
but that's the beauty of it too. And I'm thankful that Allah had me to do this, because the important part too that we forget about, especially as adults or parenting, to me, there's a huge, huge, huge effect that can be implanted in the children. And I am a product of a blended family experience coming up as a child. So I know what it is to, and for me, it's different. My father is the one who stuck with the children and did everything in his power to keep us together. And he did, he was successful at it. And it was my mother who, walked out. The hurt that I remember living in and going through was just, again, it wasn't even necessary. It wasn't necessary. When you look back and you get the stories from both your father and your mother, it don't even really make sense, for those of us who have a moral and ethical value, some type of code to live by, it really is, it's not worth it, not to cause that kind of pain on the children.
Yeah. Which continues on through generations.
Absolutely.
Generational trauma. Wow.
Yes.
Y'all, get ready. What did Pastor TD Jakes? Get ready. Thank you,
right.
Brother Daoud. Very exciting. I'm looking forward to reading it. And we have a few minutes and we're going to close with the visionary author, Sister Nayyirah. And so from all of the authors here and to come, throughout, and those 33, thank you again for creating this, for seeing this, for receiving it. You had to receive it because you could have been like, nah. And what made you, okay, that's the question that when I said, nah, this is the question I want to ask. Were you afraid once you accepted the challenge?
You talking to my husband?
Me.
Oh, you know what? Let me just tell you this. Sister Nayyirah is like a champion at whatever she does, right? Once I say, okay, yes, I'm gonna do this, it's on and popping. But I gotta tell you this. In the middle, and closer to the end, I was like, what the world? Oh, did I really do this? Because it started to unfold. The excitement started to settle into the facing and experience, being willing to experience what's really transpiring. Because writing the book, coaching 33 other people, everybody is now going through something with their family. But what I believe is it's a manifestation of the type of work that we're doing, including my own family. Like all sorts of things just started to just happen, right? Like, it's like either is God putting in order, we're putting in order, or the enemy is on the attack. But either way, I have to be anchored in order to continue the assignment. So no, I wasn't afraid at first. I was popcorns and cheerleading. But now that I'm in the middle of it, even now I'm sitting here with a pressing situation, dealing with family. But the reality of it is that I know it's divinity. See, when you know the mission gets big, the mission is bigger than your problems. So for me, it's like, peace be still, know that he's God, keep seeking refuge in Allah, keep asking, being steadfast, right? Be encouraged, fall back when you need to fall back, get forward when, and the importance of having people that surrounds you, a team of people, and everybody doing their part. You understand? Yeah. So for me, in the beginning, no, there was no fear. Once I said yes, it was, let's do this. But where I am now, it's like, my God, my Lord, Allah, Ya Allah, what the world, you understand? But I understand that we're literally crowning right now. This baby is pushing out, and I feel the pain of being in labor to deliver this baby to the Lamb of God. So we're crowning right now.
Wow.
And it's not an easy feeling. I'm feeling the labor pains, and I'm sure the authors may feel something too, right? Because they got to get their stories back, this, that, and the other. I didn't know what all came with this, but I thank God Almighty that I was humble and obedient enough to accept the assignment.
We do, Sister Nayyirah. Thank you for saying that, because you just brought home to my heart about what's happening in my atmosphere, right? My environment. And I can understand for the authors. I want to give everyone 30 seconds closing remarks. We'll start with Brother Daoud. Thank you, Nayyirah. I felt that.
Yes, well, all I'm going to say is get ready for this book. Just like it is going to help you in your choice of moving you throughout the rest of your life. If you allow it to do that, it has helped us. So you will definitely have that experience. This book is off the chain.
Thank you. Sister Anissa Muhammad.
What's the question again, beloved?
Closing remarks.
This book, Repair the Black Family book project, is not a book project, it's a mission. And it would behoove anyone to make sure that they get this book for themselves and get it for somebody else. Even if you think you may not need it, get it and read it and gift it to someone else. It's kind of like passing it along through the family. If we can pass along all that other drama, how about passing on some goodness that can be used and that can be benefited to the family? Because just as Brother Daoud said, this book is off the chain, and it is what do you say, Sister Nayyirah? Is a bestseller?
Yes.
Yeah. It's already sold 1 million copies. We just haven't
printed
them all yet.
That's right. That's
There you
right.
go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Done deal. Brother Van and Sister Arlena Jenkins.
Closing remarks. I'm just going to reiterate what everybody else has already said. I really feel like this book is there to heal, to help, to bless, and to prosper you. If you get nothing else out of it, you will be able to, I think you'll be able to walk away proud of what we've come together to do. And I feel like if you embrace this book, it's going to help you in some way, somehow. If it's not going to help you, it's going to help somebody that you know. You have 33 authors to choose from. One story may resonate with you. 10 stories may resonate with you. It doesn't matter. You'll find something in this book, just like Brother Daoud's section of a blended family. This is very similar to that. You have a lot of different dynamics, and you'll find your part somewhere in there, if not multiple parts. But it's something's in there like an elixir to really help you heal. And I could go on, but that's it.
And to add to that, this book is knowledge. This book is information. This book is power. This book is love. This book is nurturing. This book is, to sum it all up, life. So if you're ready to start living in your true self, in your holistic self, in your correct and ordained mindset, if you're ready to start living your true life, you are ready to get and read this book and start that. That's what it is for. That's what it is.
Evangelist speaking right there. That is evangelist.
That's just, yes, she is.
Keep that one, bro. I'm gonna keep that one.
Wonderful. Look, I'm going to come out of the words of the visionary author herself, Nayyirah Muhammad. She says, life or death is in the power of the tongue and freedom in the power of the pen. Don't I know that? Lord have mercy. Visionary author, Sister Nayyirah Muhammad, and 33. We're just a few. Oh my God, you guys, the titles alone are going to blow your minds, right? 33 authors have set out to this. They've come together. We've come together to write and tell our stories. It is not easy to reveal yourself to yourself, much less to other people. But what
Amen.
I'm hearing and reading and seeing and in all of our coaching is that we're willing to do it because we have and are finding healings that can help you. So in the words of Sister Nayyirah, breaking generational suffering in silence in repair of the Black family. This book is coming out. Put it on your calendars, February 19th. Oh my God, Sister Nayyirah, you
February 1st is the pre-order.
that's right, pre-orders. You go ahead, take the last few words and
Yeah, so it's February 1st, the pre-orders. We ask that you follow all of the authors. Each author is going to be able to have their pre-orders. And then February 19th is the launch. That's when we're going to have a party, y'all. It's going to be a virtual thing. We're going to have a party. We're looking to have on Clubhouse 100 people to come on Clubhouse with us, and let's launch this book globally. So February 1st is the pre-orders. February 19th is the book launch.
Thank you all for joining Liberated Sisters. We look forward to you. Look, the feedback from the book, please, is going to be very important too. But thank all of you for coming on today. This is the first, it won't be the last, by Allah's grace. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad. Thank you, Felicia, the poetess Morris, and Morris Media Studios. If it's impacting our community or can uplift us as a people, subscribe to The Final Call. And please,
that's right,
patronize the brother in the bow tie with The Final Call on the street or door to door. Peace.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.